Hi YouTube, it's Joel Ellison with Pinnacle Mountain Gunsmithing. I've got a tale of two 1911s. Let's go ahead and get down the rabbit hole. By the way, if you're into historical firearms or history in general, I highly recommend folks who made my t-shirt. Yes. Especially if you're interested in the 1911 or any other historical pistols or rifles. I highly recommend you check out on YouTube our friends at See an Arsenal. Yes. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, here we have a couple of 1911s. This one is more in the late World War II, Korea, Vietnam era of 1911 service. And this one is more of a modern competition pistol. They're both mine. I shoot them both regularly because they're fantastic pistols. Both are in 45 ACP. As you can tell, both look very different. This is more what the military did to the 1911 after World War I. They made a lot of changes to the original design. In some ways, modern competition pistols are more in line with the original intent of the pistol from a World War I perspective, or slightly pre-World War I perspective. But in any case, I've outfitted them both with classic grips. Both of them are full-size 5-inch barrels, and internally they're pretty much identical. It's just all the outside stuff that is different about them. See, from a civilian shooting standpoint, the lanyard loop is one of the first things that the civilian market decided to take off of the 1911. As you can see, this one has no lanyard loop. That's really only useful from a military perspective. It can also be used as a bottle opener, just a fun fact. All the controls on this side of the pistol are extended, with the exception of the magazine release. The safety, mag catch, they've all been extended and very much enlarged. The hammer on this one has a particular bit of little decorative flourish, whereas the standard military hammer is it's just plain and simple. It's got a little checkering back there, and is a little bit wider than the body of the hammer itself on this particular pistol, but it's pretty basic. Let's see, the newer one has both rear and front slide serrations, whereas the original has just these kind of basic one-way cuts, although they're both functional and quite nice in their own regard. By the way, this is a TSOS. It is not an original World War II pistol. I know. I can't shoot antiques all the time. This one has a nice blued finish. It does have a scratch down the slide, but that's okay. This pistol works for a living, especially since it works for me. Let's see, one of the bigger things that modern 1911s tend to go for is an 8-round magazine. As you saw, it stuck out just a little bit, whereas the traditional magazine is nice and flush. You can see more differences from the back of the magazines. Let's see if I can get in close there. All right. Yeah, the modern magazine has more of a round cutout, whereas the traditional one is much more square. Traditional ones also kind of have a little bit of a flare to them, but the modern ones have a plastic follower, as this original one is steel. And it also does not have that little dimple in the bottom of the follower. The sides of the feed lips are a little more straight on modern 1911 mags, whereas the original ones have a little bit of a flare. I don't know if you can see that well in this shot. But in any case, and of course the modern ones hold one more round, but stick out just a little bit. Modern ones also can come in 10-round varieties, but they stick out a good bit more. They're about that long, and they're a little goofy. I use them a lot in competition myself, but there are reasons for a little extra capacity. Let's see, other features that have changed from the military spec to the more traditional civilian one. The beaver tail is much smaller than on the modern one. The modern one also has a bit of a memory notch. That way you're for sure engaging that every single time you grip the pistol. That makes sure you are absolutely certain, no matter if you have a kind of terrible grip or not. Let's see, both function exactly the same. You can both be carried cocked and locked. In fact, I do occasionally on these. This particular one has a bit of a flare in the mag well. Makes insertion of those magazines a little bit easier. Not all USGI 1911s have that. Let's go ahead and flip them over so I can show you this side and some of the differences. All right, here we are. The mil-spec 1911 also has this arched mainspring housing, whereas most commercial 1911s nowadays do not have that. I actually kind of like the arched mainspring housing. Gives it a little bit better purchase in my hand, but maybe that's just me. The trigger on a modern 1911, this one has a set screw for take-up, and is much further forward than the traditional 1911 trigger. This particular one has a little bit of checkering on it, which is quite nice. The sights on a modern 1911 are much, much better. You get regular 3-dot sights. These are called Novak style sights, which if you want to install Novak style sights on a pistol like this, the notch stays the same in the rear sight, but you do end up having to mill off a good bit of the back of the slide, which it can be done. The front sight on this one is really minusculely tiny. They line up nicely, but it's really tiny. Back when this pistol was designed, everyone was absolutely paranoid about catching the front sight on the front of a holster and having that front sight wear away a holster. Nowadays, we're not so much concerned about that. This particular sight is difficult to change out because it requires it to be staked into the slide from the inside, and that's a bit of a pain to. It's a bit of a pain to do. It's much easier to change out dovetail in this particular one. This particular pistol is also a little bit chunkier in the slide than the GI spec. The GI spec is a little slimmer, a little lighter, just because you need a little bit more meat to get a dovetail cut into the front of the slide. Let's see. All right, folks, I've set you up at a little bit more advantageous camera angle so I can show you more things on the pistols. I don't think I mentioned it before, but this particular pistol is a Filipino-made 1911 from a little company called Metro Arms. I'm not even sure if they're still in business or not, but they made a very nice pistol. If we compare the fit and finish to the GI 1911, by the way, these are both unloaded, no magazine. Yep. Making sure we establish that before we proceed. But in terms of fit and finish, it's not bad. The GI spec it's faithful to the originals in that the slide is a little loose. Listen close if you can hear the rattle. You hear that rattle? Yeah, that's about normal for a 1911 of World War II, Korea, Vietnam era, and especially after many years of hard military service. Whereas this, you don't hear the rattle, do you? Well, that's because there's very little. Let's see, one way to check for play in a slide is to hold the grip firmly in your hand and try to twist the pistol kind of like this kind of a motion. But you can feel a little bit of movement in it. Also, when I push down on the barrel hood, I can feel a little bit of movement in this one. Whereas the Filipino 1911, there is no movement of the barrel whatsoever. There's a little bit side to side, but I've shot this one a lot. It's been a really nice pistol for me. Both of these have really very excellent triggers, nice and crisp. They're about the same weight, about 4.5, 5 pounds ish, which is honestly that's really all you need. A lot of 1911s nowadays also have ambidextrous safeties, manual safeties. I'm really not a fan of those. I always tend to ride up high on the pistol, and while I'm up here, I tend to bump the safety back on where I don't need it to be on. I usually like to use the safety kind of as a thumb ledge. That way I have a nice firm hold of it, and that way I can control recoil a little better. It's been a really good pistol for me. I have no plans of selling it, but yeah, well, either one really. Let's see. I'll show you a few other things that have changed on these over the years. Let's see. All right, here we are. The ejection ports on these. Famously on GI 1911s, this one's been lowered a little bit, and it also hasn't been scalloped out. But yeah, they used to be very, very high. Like this line from here to here, that was pretty much unbroken in US GI pistols. And it led to some reliability issues. Whereas on this pistol, that particular port is much, much lower. It's also got a little bit of a scallop back here, just behind the, just kind of near the extractor. These have been wonderful, wonderful pistols for me. Let's see, what else can I tell you about them? Grips. They both come in a variety of grips. This one will take pretty much any 1911 grip out there. No modifications necessary, which is wonderful. This one requires a little bit of modification to the grip. These extended slide lock and safeties, it does require a bit of relief up here on the top of the magazine well. Do I have a lot of grips for these particular pistols? Well, you tell me. In any case, grips are very much a matter of personal preference, and also, to a certain extent, a matter of fashion, if I may be so bold. In any case, 1911s are wonderful pistols. I really love them. I can't say enough good things about them. Are they a little dated in today's world? Yeah, a little bit, but it's like a man who enjoys a fine cigar or a manual transmission. Yeah, other things have advanced since then, but since those alternatives were invented, but there's just something about it. In any case, thanks for coming along with me. If you need any services for a custom gunsmith in upstate South Carolina, you can find my contact info on my page, and feel free to give us a call. I'd love to help you out and maybe customize your own 1911 sometime. In any case, I'll see you later. Do all the good YouTube things of like, subscribe, and share with your friends, because the algorithm certainly won't do it for us. I'll see you next time. Bye.